like the light is blowing it out a little bit. Hopefully they will be able to get an accurate measurement. We do see, however, it hanging on, making sure everything is working, backing up slowly. Down to the left, you saw from the robotic point of view that red lever is used to turn on the lights. This pool does have lights built into it. We're using some surface ones as well. Right now, as you can tell, though, the only light source in the pool is from that of the robot itself. Looks like they have dropped their tape measure. They're going to go for attempt number 2, making sure we get that task completed as we see their drivers focusing, making sure to get any measurements written down. Moving forward, we see their robot going down for one of those weights, returning back towards their drivers. For those of you just joining us, the driver is not allowed to look behind them into the pool. They may only look at what their robot camera is seeing. So having that vision when we have seen that robotic camera feed, that is all the information the driver has. No one near the pool is allowed to communicate with them as to what is going on. See the robot considering its next course of action, taking a look around. Driver appears to be our team is debating on the next thing to work on. These teams have 30 minutes to move forward, score as many points as possible. Here in Atlantis, the structure you see in the middle of the pool is the pyramid. Right now that pyramid is locked, but I've learned there is a combination to the pyramid in that treasure chest you see down at the bottom of the pool. Currently, our robot is moving around towards that red lever I mentioned earlier. That is our light switch. Once that lever is lowered, all the lights will turn on for the robot, and we are lowered. Lights are on. We'll have much better view. That will help out our driver a lot as well. It's like we're having some rough camera feed, but that robot is going towards the treasure chest, looking for the combination that will give them access to the pyramid. While you do see a keyhole, that panel just needs to be pressed. It's about 4 inches wide. Looks like they need to take another attempt at that. Once again, for those of you joining us, we are at the National Underwater Robotics Challenge. We are watching the team, the Typewriter Repairmen from Sierra Vista and Tucson, Arizona, going for that treasure chest. We are about 8 minutes into their run. And we see the levers triggered. What is our combination for the push buttons? Our drivers are taking a look, making sure they know the exact pattern that they need. Looks like they have an assistant writing things down, helping them out. Moving forward, we have one button press, looking for that from the robot, making sure it gets fully depressed. It is a spring-loaded button as well. They are moving on to the next target, getting number 2. Once that happens, the door will open up. This team has worked hard to prioritize what tasks they want to do in which order. Will they opt to do the weights, or will they go for the pyramid first? Remember, that pyramid door will shut as soon as the relic is grabbed. In that pyramid, there are 2 chambers, one of which reveals panels of writing. The other is the relic chamber. Removing the relic will close that door behind them, but it looks like the door is now open. The robot is returning to the surface as we see our human operator diving in there for the robot. Will we see them go for those weights? Yes. We have the human is attaching the inflatable tube that this team has decided is the best course of action. There are 3 different weights at the bottom of the pool: 2 pounds, 5 pounds, and 10 pounds each. The strategy this team has decided to use is to inflate that inner tube using air that is run through their tether under the surface in order to provide the extra flotation needed to bring that weight back to the surface. 10 pounds is a lot when it comes to these vehicles, meaning they need all the extra help that they can get. We see it returning down where you see those big black squares there on the bottom. We have those weights. We are aiming for that farthest back weight. I'm not sure if that is our largest or our second largest. It appears to be the largest weight available to us. We are looking at about 10 minutes through their session. They have 30 minutes to score as many points as they can, with a potential for 500 points. They are aiming for the ring around the weight. They're very close, going through that PVC ring, and will they pick it up? We'll see. I see the robot has connected to it. It has the inner tube. It looks like it's inflating the inner tube. I can see the air coming up to the surface. It's getting extra flotation. This robot as well has 3 vertical thrusters that will allow it to float as much as possible. Oh, the inner tube is fully inflated. Will we see liftoff off the bottom of the pool? We're getting a few feet up, slowly rising to the surface. Oh, and it's sinking back down. Our driver working very carefully to bring that up as far as they can. They will also need to navigate back towards where their person is standing on the edge of the pool. We are moving back towards the camera view. You can see that inner tube there on the upper part of the screen, being used to provide that extra bit of flotation. Unlike a lot of robotics competitions on land, that vertical dimension has to be considered. That is why you'll see a lot of these vehicles focus on having thrusters that will go both up and down, and adding extra devices like we see this inner tube for flotation. The person on the side of the pool replacing the ring with a deflated one. The team shared in their technical presentation that they had discovered that it took way too long to deflate the ring. So in the interest of time, given the 30-minute time limit in this competition, they will opt to switch for a deflated one on the robot. We're going for the next size of weight. I believe this is our 5-pound weight, utilizing the flotation ring as well to bring it to surface. Oh, and they knock it over. Will they be able to right the weight in time? They are carefully lining up to it, making sure they can hook onto it. Will they abandon it, or are they backing off? They are backing off of the weight, trying to tip it back up, keeping an eye on another one of our views. Looks like our driver's taking a careful look at it. They've knocked it off of the pedestal it was on, and they seem to be returning to the surface. Will they try for that weight again or go for a different mission? Let's see. It looks like they are navigating to the back of the pyramid where the final weight is, right next to that light switch they pulled earlier. Okay, I believe that is our 10-pound weight there. Carefully lining up. Looks like they need to aim a little bit lower to get into that PVC ring, but they're through without knocking the weight over. That's got to feel like redemption after that earlier attempt. Next, they are bringing it back to the surface. I see him carefully dragging it across the floor back to the front of the pyramid. They are almost as far away from their person on the side of the pool as they can be right now. The other thing to consider in this competition, when compared to others where the robots may be wirelessly controlled, is that there is a tether that has to be contended with. The person who manages the tether on the side of the pool may not provide any direction to the driver, and it is relatively easy for the ROV to get tangled in that. They're successfully using their flotation device to bring that weight back to the side of the pool. It will be 10 points to move it from its starting location, and recovering it to the surface is 20, 40, or 60 points depending on the weight. So even though that one weight was not able to be returned to the surface, they did move it off the platform. So that may be reflected in your final scoring. We have our ROV returning to the surface. Looks like they are making a run at the pyramid here in the city of Atlantis. It is rumored that there is a very valuable treasure there in the pyramid. From a map found in the Grand Canyon that is providing our robot's the directions needed to move into the pyramid, and we look to one of the rooms there on the pyramid with those switches. They are in the library. Those 3 red switches help unlock important text for the robots to read. Looks like they are just short of hitting that lever, but it is down. That is 1 text. We are going for number 2. Those levers are held down by magnets, meaning they stay in place. They can't be re-locked afterwards. And that is 2 levers for each one. That is 20 points. More information as to the scoring is on the website. Reading the ancient text, we are now moving over to the most fascinating room of all. This is the relic room. As soon as that relic is moved, that is the glowing thing there at the bottom of the pool. As soon as that is moved, the timer starts to close the door of the pyramid. If the door closes before the robot escapes, no further points may be scored during the course of this round. These teams only have 1 attempt to score as many points as possible, meaning that a loss of opportunity to score could be devastating. Looks like our robot is moving towards the surface, trying to consider its next steps. The door to the pyramid is still open. The relic has not been retrieved. I wonder if we are trying to straighten out the tether, if that is what's trying to happen here, or if they have a secondary goal. I'm unable to see the drivers at this moment, so I'm not sure what discussions are happening here or if they are trying to prioritize the next steps. Looks like they're using their camera to plan ahead, understand where they are in process. And looking down the tunnel as well, looks like they are aiming towards the relic. If the lights were not turned on, there are glow sticks in there as well to help add illumination. They are carefully lining up. As soon as that relic is moved, and it's moved, will they knock it over? Oh, the relic is over. Will they get trapped in the pyramid as well? They have 30 seconds before the door is starting to close. It looks like they are almost hooked on it. Carefully lining up. I see it tumbling around. Time is running out. Will the robot escape? Are they going to try to escape the pyramid? Yes, they are escaping without the relic, trying to make sure they don't get tangled in that tether cord. Time is carefully running out. The bubbles have started. That means that the door will be shutting soon. That is their warning. Looks like they have successfully escaped as the door closes behind them, but without the relic. How will that impact their final score? That was 60 points left behind, but that pyramid is now closed. And the human player has retrieved the robot from the pool. We see the timer. We're at 18 minutes through the competition. Looks like we are done from the Typewriter Repairmen. I'm not sure if we will get scores immediately, but once I have a score to report, we will do so. As a reminder, awards will be given tomorrow, so any of the judging or anything that happened earlier today will all be tabulated overnight, and those will be presented to the teams in the morning.